I want you to think like, are you forward facing a lot? Is your brand very dependent on you? Is your company very dependent on you? Well, hello there, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. Talking today about leveraging a personal brand. Okay, I'm digging right in, and I'm digging right in because I'm hangry. And when I'm hangry, I'm pretty passionate, uh, but also like I move quickly so that I can go eat. So there's that. Like, why am I so hungry? Here's a question for all you menopausal women. Menopausal men, skip right past. No, I'm kidding. Man, you can skip past this, but okay. Menopausal women, first of all, it's been since I was 45 years old since I had a regular cycle. Okay. So Easton, this is news to your ears as you're editing your mother's YouTube channel and video right now, but you know, you're engaged, you're going to have a wife and kids who are probably going to be girls also. So there's that. Okay. So anyhow, so now I'm getting ready to turn 53. Is it possible though, that you still have like during a month, even though you're no longer menstruating, do you still have like hormone surges that make you during a certain time of month more hungry than other times? Because like yesterday and today, I could eat my arm. I'm so hungry. Does that make sense? And I'm like, why? But why? I mean, yes, I worked out today. I've already walked a good probably 7,000 steps by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But why am I so hungry today? I shouldn't be this hungry today. I don't know. I'm just merely contemplating, thinking, probably oversharing and trying to process here on my podcast. Okay, but so I want to get right to the meat of this podcast topic. Okay, so first of all, did you listen to the podcast episode that I did with Brandon Turner, also known as Beardy Brandon? It was episode number 450. Okay, so we talked on there about his personal brand. We talked about how he was a leader in the real estate industry, how he owns something like 13,000 real estate doors, you guys. It's insane. You know, I think Jason and I had 4 properties, one that we live in, 2 that we use as Airbnbs. We had a 4th property then, but we sold that last year. And so I'm like, you know, I'm thinking we've got that we're doing good on a good start until you talk to Brandon. I'm like 13,000 properties. Okay. But what I think was so cool about our conversation is that he was really talking about how, if you establish yourself as a personal brand, build a personal brand, make your goal of your social media in establishing a personal brand. Like if you do that, it just opens up so many opportunities for yourself. He was talking about how he originally started out by, and if, okay, so basically what I want to talk about today is like more personal branding things. Okay. So he was talking about, I just want to reiterate a couple things that he said, that like he was in his 20s when he started doing real estate. And when you're looking at building a personal brand, you got to figure out like what makes me recognizable, what makes me stand out from others. So in his case, he was 20 years old. So like his personal brand should be, hey, I'm doing real estate as a 20-year-old. Look at what I'm doing, and you can do the same thing. And then you're like magnetizing other 20-year-olds to your brand, et cetera. So when I'm coaching women, a lot of times they'll come to me and they'll be like, you know, I'm 70. So I don't know how I'm going to build, you know, this thing online. I'm like, okay, so use the fact that you're 70 to your advantage. Your personal brand includes your age, that you're, you know, I talk about menopause just now on my, and by the way, I am postmenopausal. I am not in perimenopause. I am not menopausal. All blood tests show I am postmenopausal. The window has closed. We are officially on the back 9 of life. And so, you know, that's part of my personal brand, that I talk about things like my age. But he was talking about like what makes you recognizable, what makes you unique. Like for him, he's really grown out his beard. It's so long now, and it's part of his name on Instagram. Like, could he even cut that thing now? I don't even know. I know for me, my hair tends to be part of my own personal brand. Whether I like it or not, do I still want to have my own shampoo, conditioner, and hair gel line one day? I do. I do. So if you know a guy, like tell him about my big hair. But, you know, Brandon grew his beard specifically for like the branding purposes. So if you're like, well, I'm in my 70s. Okay. So that's part of your personal brand. If you're like, you know what, I'm really sarcastic and I'm just not going to do good on social media. No, that's part of your brand, like your personality, your sarcasm. He talked about how he named himself. Like he didn't wait for anybody else to do it for him. He just made it catchy, the Beardy Brandon, with like alliteration. And that's like his like, social media like identifier. Um, we talked about how he then leveraged his personal brand, like for raising a lot of money. I think he said he raised, was it 40 million or 400 million from Instagram alone, because he had built a personal brand where his audience knew, like, and trusted him. And he said he knows people that have started like 5 businesses in 1 year, and they all work because they've built a personal brand. So we were just having this whole personal branding conversation, because it is so amazing what you can do on the internet if you have built a personal brand. I'm going to give you a couple other people who have done a phenomenal job of this. I want you to think of like Chalene Johnson. Chalene's podcast, by the time this episode comes out, I think Chalene's will have come out also. So you can go listen to that. But Chalene is like queen of personal branding. She originally got known for fitness and workout videos and Pio. I used to do her turbo kick routine, back 15, 20 years ago. I remember watching her infomercials in the middle of the night when I was up nursing babies when the kids were small. But she's done such a phenomenal job with building her personal brand that she can put anything in front of anybody right now and they'll buy it. Whether it's a course on walking, whether it's castor oil affiliate links, whether it is, if they've got somebody I think currently renting their home in California, but she could have leveraged her personal brand for that. Like, she can put anything in front of people. Sandy Krakowski has built a huge personal brand. She started out teaching people about Facebook ads, and then it was social media in general, and then it was marketing in general. And now she teaches people about the stock market. She also has lost a ton of weight, gotten incredibly healthy and fit in the last couple of years. So she's doing something on that right now. Like, when you build a personal brand, you are able then, after having built a personal brand, you have earned the right then to talk about and basically move and pivot as you want, because you can leverage what you've built for about anything. I believe that I have built a decent personal brand, not to the success size of Chalene or Sandy, but having built a personal brand has allowed us to do things like start a VA service that people who aren't even our clients are using. Has allowed, like Jason has, I would like to think some of his Fairway Finest golf apparel sales have been from, his wife mentioning him on social media or in emails. We've got a whole software, Equip 360, that you can use for all of your marketing needs, and able to sell that because of the fact that I'm a personal brand. Meaning, yes, my main thing is business coaching, but there's other things that I tell people about that they show some interest in as well. If you're somebody that's in like the network marketing space, I think of like Sarah Robbins. Sarah has, I have a podcast episode with her that has not aired quite yet. I think it comes out in July. But if you're in the network marketing space, just make sure you're building your personal brand along with your network marketing business. If you're somebody who's selling like MRR, make sure you're building a personal brand so that if things change in the network marketing company you're with, or with, rules and regulations around MRR, that you're able to just depend on your personal brand to do another thing. Does that make sense? Sarah Robbins, an incredible example of somebody in network marketing who has built a phenomenal personal brand. And so if you're wondering like, well, am I building a personal brand or have I? I want you to think like, are you forward facing a lot? Is your brand very dependent on you? Is your company very dependent on you? Back in the day when I wanted to sell the Magic Brush, my painting company in Kansas City, I met with like a business broker, and we talked about, selling the company. And he's like, the thing is, Jennifer, your business is so dependent. Your painting company is so dependent on you that without you, is there actually even a company? Now that's a sign you have built a personal brand. And so I ended up just shutting it down and not selling it to anybody. And so are people like, are you forward facing? Is the brand really dependent on you? Are people asking you like where you get things, what you think about certain things? Have you given a lot of your thoughts and opinions? Do people know more about you than just what you sell in business? And if you're not sure, but you begin to do more things that are very forward facing, and people start asking you more and more, like, where did you get that shirt? Tell me how you do your hair. Tell me about that desk sitting behind you, Jen. Like, that's a really good sign that you're building a personal brand. I look at Sister Studio IG. Do you guys follow her on Instagram? So her name's Jen Reed. Um, Jen and I don't know each other personally, but we have the same first name. So I feel like we should. She came into Inner Circle years and years ago and did a teaching. She's amazing. But people started out just asking her about her cute clothes. And so now she's done, like collaborations with oh gosh, am I gonna blank out? Is it Abercrombie? And then what's the name of the shoes? The shoes, Steve Madden shoes. She's got a whole line of candles. I think she has like an Airbnb in Oklahoma. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if she's got it so where she's renting it out, but like she's amazing. Or think of Brittany from Addison's Wonderland. She's built an incredible personal brand where she's able to talk about all of her clothes, recent surgery, kids, new marriage, then also her new house in Italy and where she got those pants, but yet also where she got that cute decor. So if people are asking you about things, that's a really good sign you're on your way to building a really strong personal brand. The reason that building a personal brand is so brilliant, though, is this, because it transfers across all other businesses. If you open up another business, if you start another revenue stream, listen, in the Bible, it literally talks in Ecclesiastes 11:2 about having 7, yet even 8 ways of bringing money into the storehouse, meaning revenue in. Okay. If you Google how many revenue streams does the average millionaire have, they have 7 revenue streams. So the Bible and Google lining up. Okay. And so when you think about, well, how does somebody get all those different revenue streams? It's because they have a personal brand. That's what it is. I started out talking about paint, but also talking about my faith, and then talking a little bit about family, and then talking about hair. And then I started opening up boxes from Stitch Fix. Some of you have followed me that long. If you have, and you're watching me on YouTube, would you comment below? Because God bless you. You're my favorite. Then I got into teaching people how to start a cabinet painting company, how they could paint furniture for a living. Then I did like a Periscope class. And then I did a class on doing Facebook Lives. Then I started a monthly group. And then I started launching a course and then a mastermind. Then we launched like an entire Jennifer Allwood home line. You guys remember that? Then we've gone into, I have Businessist, which is a VA service that you can literally, regardless of what type of business you're in, you can hire one of my VAs to work for you. We started Equip 360, which is my software. And so this is a marketing software that you can use even if you're, not in my coaching groups, as a place to schedule your social media, schedule your clients, host your website, develop your landing pages. Like it's an all-in-one marketing software. Jason and I have 2 rental properties, Bougie on the beach in Florida, Bougie in the desert in Arizona. And so I am able to leverage what I've built on social media and for an email list to talk about those properties, right? And then I'm able to even do this. I have a discount specifically just for my podcast listeners, my people that follow me on social media, or if they're on my email list. And so, like, you're not only able to leverage your personal brand to sell more, like to get people into, one of our rental properties, but you're also able to like reward them in a way, if that makes sense. By the way, because somebody will inevitably ask me, if you follow on Instagram, Bougie on the Beach, and or go to bougieonthebeach.com, the code is repeat, like for people that want to stay on the beach again and again and again, repeat, and you get a 20% off discount. If you follow Bougie in the Desert, which is our Arizona property, you can use F and F20, which is friends and family 20, and it's F with the ampersand. So F and F20, and get a 20% discount there. So it's like, you're able to also reward the people who are not only following you for one part of your business, but they're buying some of your products here, they're renting your properties here, they're, buying your husband's polos here. Like, if you can build a personal brand, friends, you are the brand. You're a really trusted source for your followers. And then you're able to like move, bend with the economy, what's going on in certain industries. You're able to flex and your people are not shocked by it. They don't have whiplash from you doing different things because they're really following you for you. Does that make sense? You're able to combine like your email list and your followers if you need to. I'm able to say on Jennifer Allwood Home, hey, do you follow me on Bougie in the Desert? If you don't, you totally should, because you're going to want to see what we just did, in our 5th bedroom there with wallpaper or whatever. Or I can say, hey, we've got some open time in September in our house in Florida. If you'd like to rent that, I'm able to send that in an email. And people who may not even know about other things that you do, if you can like get them onto your email list, or if you can tell them to follow another account that I have where I do X, Y, and Z, then you're able to totally like leverage that. So people who maybe, for instance, like they don't know that I have a property in Florida that they can rent from Jason and I. They don't know about Bougie on the Beach. Well, now they possibly can find out because they're on my list for like maybe a workshop or a boot camp that I previously had. So I hope that that makes sense. If you have not listened to that episode with Brandon Scherner, go back and watch that. It's episode number 450. And then I want to make sure that you know that I have a little tiny mini course on personal branding. It's literally $37, friends. That is a tiny expense for a ton of value. There are 4 videos inside of my personal branding mini course. So I talk about, like on the first video, like what is personal branding, how you can make sure that you are setting yourself up for that and that you're actually doing that. I talk about on one of the videos, like who should create a personal brand and why you should create a personal brand. I talk about on one of the videos, then how do you do it? How do you actually set yourself up as a personal brand? And then the one that everybody loves the most, of course, is how do you monetize it? Now that you've got things set up, how do you monetize the brand that you have built? And so you can go to jenniferallwood.com/brand, jenniferallwood.com/brand. Again, it's $37. It's just a tiny little insignificant cost that, by the way, if you're building a personal brand, which is a business, should be a tax write-off. Okay. So when you build a personal brand, you can do things exactly like that. You can have little tiny teachings, things that you want your people to know about, things that you offer one-offs. And that is what this is. So go to jenniferallwood.com/brand, get that 4-part video series. We'll deliver it right to your inbox and make sure that you're building something that you can like take with you. The final thing I want to say about that is this. If you are someone who has children that you would like to leave your business to, if you are, let's say, a coaching business or you're a consultant of any kind, that's a hard thing to kind of leave to your kids, right? But if you build a personal brand, you can also kind of tie in your children on occasion. So I have mentioned to you guys that our son Noah Allwood, and I think this was all in like the life update video that Jason and I did. It was at the beginning of June, I think. But we talk about like our son Noah and how he takes care of Jason's Fairway Finest social media. We talk about our son Easton, who takes care of my YouTube. We've had 2 of you reach out to ask Easton about help with your own YouTube channels. I'm able to talk to you about Jason's Fairway Finest golf apparel brand, which hopefully, like I said, has resulted in some of his sales. And so if you have kids that at some point you'd like to leave something to, and they're kind of sort of helping you in your business now, becoming a personal brand is so helpful for that. I want you to think of like Shalene Johnson and her son, Brock. She obviously taught him a lot about Instagram. He is very, very knowledgeable on his own without his mom at this point. Like he's brilliant. But I think that people, know him because they were introduced to him when he was much younger on his mom's social media, podcasts, etc., because she was a personal brand. I think it's Sandy Krakowski with her son, Jeremy, too. I mean, I knew, of him immediately when I started coaching with Sandy a decade ago because she talked about him. She brought him in. He did some coaching. He did some teaching, and now he's coaching all up on his own. And so if ever you're like, okay, I think my kids would have some interest in my business or in doing something similar to what I'm doing, or a part of like what I teach or what they know or what they currently help me with, like building a personal brand is going to help set them up for success as well. Because then you're just kind of including them more. You're talking about them more. And it's just a win-win. So go to jenniferallwood.com/brand, grab that, go back and listen to that whole thing with Beardy Brandon on episode 450. Leave a comment below if this was helpful. Much love to you guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Talk soon. Okay, bye-bye. You can go ahead and tell me I'm your favorite mother. I don't care. It's probably time everybody on the internet knew.